All right, let's do best players available. And I'm going to start with some names that even aren't on the top of our list when you look at the CBS Sports best available players list. Quarterbacks. After Hendon Hooker, we've had 5 quarterbacks go, Rick. Jake Haener, Jaron Hall, Clayton Tune, Darian Thompson-Robinson. There are plenty of names out there. Is there any name among the quarterbacks that you might see go early on day 4?
I'm going to go with Jake Haener from Fresno State.
Okay.
We talked about him on previous podcasts. He's not the fastest. He's not the most athletic. Doesn't have the strongest arm. But he just has the smarts, the savvy, the ability to make off-schedule throws. A lot of the things that I saw on him on tape reminded me of Case Keenum.
And that's a good thing because we've talked about it before in the podcast. Case Keenum was a quarterback that went 13-3 for the Vikings in that year that many people thought that was a lost season.
Yeah.
Made himself a few bucks, too.
Yeah, he's going to develop, and I think he's going to be a very good backup in this league. And those backups nowadays make pretty good money.
Yeah. I've talked before about Dorian Thompson-Robinson because of the athleticism and the arm strength. I'll mention Jaron Hall, who I probably haven't talked about since the Senior Bowl. I liked his tape in the fall, but the consistency wasn't there at the Senior Bowl. I don't know if there was an injury we didn't know about or otherwise. I know that some teams like him. We'll see how much on day 3 because a lot of times teams say one thing and then they do another by the time of the end.
And don't forget about Aiden O'Connell, too, the quarterback from Purdue. He's not athletic, but he does a great job in the pocket. He has excellent vision, very accurate thrower. May not fit the athletic mold that these quarterbacks are, but I think he has a chance to be a solid backup as well.
Okay, let's look at the cornerbacks list, too. I think we have that graphic because there are a few names on here that I thought had a really good chance to go on day 2, and they're still available, and I'm sort of curious about that. Of course, we have Eli Ricks. We were at his pro day at Alabama, and there was some concern about the 4.6 speed. He's plenty long. He looks the part, but he was a little slow. He transferred from LSU. That was something that stuck out. Jalen Jones, the cornerback out of Texas A&M, is another name that I thought had an opportunity to get drafted. Then we had Clark Phillips III. I'm going to ask you about him out of Utah. Smaller cornerback, probably a nick, and he didn't run particularly well. And then, of course, Keely Ringo's at the top there. And you can talk about Clark, or even Jacorian Bennett, who ran in the 4.3s, played opposite Dante Banks in Maryland. I thought he had a chance to go day 2 as well. Which one of these names interests you the most?
Bennett, by far, is the one that interests me the most because everybody was on him watching in the fall. Then all of a sudden, Dante Banks comes out, and then everybody's talking about him, and they forget about Bennett. But Bennett had very good tape this year. He is athletic. He has speed. I think he has a position flexibility to not only play outside, but also line up as a nick over the slot and play a lot of man coverage. And Clark Phillips in the same way. He is a very good football player at Utah, undersized, didn't run very well, probably quicker than fast, but a very good football player. He's more than willing as a tackler for his size, and he has excellent ball skills.
An offensive line is obviously one of the most important positions. A lot of times those players get overdrafted. I haven't really seen the case in this draft, and maybe that's why some of these players are still on the board and available. DeJuan Jones, first-round talent all day long. 6'8", the wingspan, what feels like it would be 10 feet if you laid him down sideways. He had 36-plus-inch arms, 375 at the Senior Bowl, 374, I believe, at the Combine. Didn't get weighed at his pro day. There were concerns about that. He is dominant when he wants to be, Rick. He also is still on the board as a potential first-round talent. And I'll lump him in with Jalen Duncan, one of the best athletes in this draft class, who played left tackle at Maryland. There were some maturity concerns, tried to play right tackle at the Senior Bowl, struggled, and fair enough, it's not an easy transition. Is there a chance for these guys to get drafted and be the players that they should be based on their athleticism? Yeah,
no, I think those guys are all going to go here early in the 4th round because they're too talented not to. DeJuan Jones, I think he fell some. We were down there at the Senior Bowl the first day. I mean, he was off the charts. He may have been the best offensive lineman down there. Then all of a sudden, he weighs in. He's weighing about 374, 375. Same at the Combine. The whole NFL goes to the pro day at Ohio State. They're going to go see C.J. Stroud throw. They're going to go see Smith-Njigba run. And then you see Paris Johnson Jr. going through the offensive line drills. You see Whippler, who's still another good player on the board.
Yeah, still out there.
Going through his offensive line drills. They worked out for 20 minutes. Then they go into the end zone. All these offensive line coaches go down there and working for another half hour. They didn't blink an eye. You see DeJuan Jones refuses by own choice, which he said, I'm not going to step on a scale. Right away, as a general manager and everybody, coach, every person I talk to says he weighs 400 pounds. That's why he's not going to step on a scale. All of a sudden, all the momentum that he built started to go down like this. Then we go out, okay, well, he'll probably do drills so we can see him move in person.
How'd that go?
He went out there in sweats and didn't do anything. And what irritates the heck, I get choked up about it, irritates the heck out of me is when you throw the ball out in the yard and you don't want to go compete.
Here we go.
That's a negative in my book. He just stood there all pro day in a sweatsuit and watched all his brothers that he went out to battle with all year and let them go out there and raise their stock, and he didn't come out and answer the bell. Another rumor that I heard from a team, they took him out to dinner. He said he ate so much, he ate 2 meals and took one to go on the way out the door.